Hi, I'm Marla with Clinical Cannabis Today, and we're down in Tucson at the Patients Out of Time conference. We're here today with Steve from Arizona Med Testing, and he's going to tell us what his company does for the clinical cannabis industry and some of the other industries he's involved in. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, Marla. AZ Med Testing has been open now for a year here in Arizona, and we've had an overwhelming response to the medical testing for the cannabis. It's been very exciting to see what patients have, what types of medicines they've brought us, from edibles to tinctures to concentrates to plant matter. It's been very exciting to see. We've been testing the plant matter for potency. We've been testing it for pesticides as well as bacteria and fungus. So we're able to ensure that patient safety in the medicine that they're receiving is pure and of best value to them.
Now, are you working with caregivers or collectives or with the state?
We're working with patients, caregivers, and the collectives, the few collectives that have popped up around the valley in Arizona. We have been working with them.
And I would have to assume after May 14th and August or this fall, all of the dispensary owners would probably want to use your services or a similar service to make sure that the medicine that they're bringing into their facility is quality controlled?
Absolutely. Quality control is going to be a big portion of the new dispensary laws. Patients are going to want to know the medicine that they're getting is of the highest quality, that it's been tested, that it doesn't have mold in it, that it doesn't have pesticides in it, and that they know exactly what levels of the THC is involved, as well as CBDs and the other molecules that are involved in the cannabis plant that heal and help different ailments.
Tell me how you do this. I have been to one show up in Toronto, and I saw a machine that basically took the material or the cannabis, and by the color of the sheet, kind of like a pregnancy test, the color of the sheet gave the information on the strength versus the THC versus the CVV. Tell me about your testing. Is it the same? Do you use a machine? How do you do it?
Well, we use an instrument, a finely tuned scientific instrument. What you're talking about there is called thin layer processing, where it uses color to determine the levels of potency. That's 1970s technology. The technology that we currently use is really of the 21st century. We extract the plant material through solvents, and we have a very scientific instrument that more or less analyzes it through different ways, through gas chromatography, where it more or less smokes the material, and as well as high pressure liquid chromatography, where it uses chemicals to analyze the material.
Great. So I wonder, do a lot of patients bring you their medicine and say, hey, here, will you test this for potency, or how does that really work?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, it's been very exciting. Being that there aren't medical marijuana businesses, really dispensaries yet in Arizona, the only people that we are testing with are caregivers and patients. There have been some collectives that have popped up in the recent months, but for the most part, for the first year, it's been patients and caregivers, and it's very interesting to see what some of them have been making and have been growing. They've really taken a lot of pride in the plants and their babies, as they call them, and have produced some great medicines.
Wow. So I would have to assume, can you utilize your testing lab to help with the edible side of the business and to be able to know how much of the medicine to put into kind of the ingredients, why they're making that, or is that totally different?
No, absolutely. We're able to test edibles. Dosing in the edible is going to be very, very important. That is a key portion of the medical testing. It is important for a patient to understand that when they're eating a infused product, exactly how much medicine they're getting, like they would get when they're taking a Tylenol. They know it's 200 milligrams. Well, they need to understand that dosing of cannabis is the same thing. So if they get a brownie, a Rice Krispie treat, a piece of chocolate that's 100 milligrams, and they know they should only eat 20 milligrams, they can break it up into the proper amount. That's a very important part of this.
Oh, that's great. So you not only do the strength of the medicine, you can help with the dosage part as well. That's great. And so how many locations do you have in Phoenix?
We only have one location. That's all we need.
Okay. And so tell me the process. Do you bring down the medicine to your facility? Does it take a week? Does it take a day?
Yes, first and foremost, AZ Med testing is we're all patients and caregivers, so we are able to carry legally the amount of medicine that we need. We get a 1 gram sample from the customer, and we typically will meet them in the valley at the caregiver collective, wherever they choose to safely hand us off their medicine. We will need to see their patient card, as they will see ours. We need an active email address and the charge for the sample.
And then you just email them the results, and that's it.
Absolutely, yes. That's our only contact with the patient. We need to make sure that their email address is valid for the next 24 hours. We have 24-hour turnaround, so they get their email that day, and we wait for them to call us the next time.
Wow. So how do we get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of us at azmedtest.com.
So www.azmedtest.com, and you're located in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep. We're in Tempe, actually.
Oh, Tempe. Okay.
So we're all over the valley, and we drive all over the state to collect samples from people. It's been quite an experience the last year.
I bet. Would you like to tell our viewers anything else?
Just make sure you get your medicine tested. It's very important. There's some medicines that come across the border that we find that are riddled with pesticides. If you don't know how your grower has been using how do you know they didn't walk around the plant with a can of Raid? That's very important. Unlike agricultural products that you buy at your grocery store, like lettuce or tomatoes, apples, you rinse those off when you get home to make sure there's no pesticides on those. You can't do that with cannabis. The material that's been sprayed on the cannabis flower stays on the cannabis flower until it's gone. So, meaning until it's been consumed with flame or put into an edible. All of those chemical properties go into whatever it is that it's being used for.
So it can't be washed off like a vegetable.
You can't. You wash your cannabis off. You kill your cannabis. It just doesn't work correctly that way.
Well, thank you so much. And again, you can contact Steve at www.azmedtest.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.